Here we are with a little walk around my little studio. Here is the fold-away bed, which is otherwise known as a Murphy bed. The idea is that will fold up against the wall, and in the top there you can see my paper backgrounds, which will be lowered down in front of the shelves and the rest of the equipment to be filmed from this sort of angle, not quite this wide lens, more that sort of thing, to get a head and shoulders shot and maybe a shot of the table. I forgot to add on my previous take that I'm still awaiting the mattress to go on the actual Murphy bed, but here it is folded up against the wall with the legs on springs still in their open position, and there is the bed with the legs folded up into their resting position, ready for me to use the whole studio. Up on the ceiling I have home-built pantograph lighting. The idea is that these will extend downwards, as well as the tracks themselves will be able to move along the tracks horizontally, so that I can get any angle I like on the lighting. I've got one set there and another spare there, so I've got two behind me as well, so I can use up to 4 lighting tracks if need be, although I can't think of it very often when I would be doing that. On the shelves below that are 5 soft boxes, and below that are 5 stands. You probably can't see them because they're black against black, but they are sitting just above the books and everything on my shelf here. To the right is a long case, which is actually part of my 5-meter crane that I'm building. It's a work in progress, as I'm still working on that. On the top part there, barely visible because I haven't put all the lights on and everything, is the actual pan and tilt mechanism that will be run by stepper motors. To the right of that is my auto cue panel that will sit on top of the monitor. I'm currently working on the software, which will be controlled by a thumb wheel mouse, so that the presenter can roll the script forward or backwards as they require and do second takes, etc. In the middle of the screen now is my 3-meter boom microphone pole. The idea is this has counterweights on the shoulder level, so that the person doesn't have to hold it above their head all the time, so it makes life a little bit easier. Just on the left of the screen you can see a shining pipe. This is actually a counterweight which is used to lower the rolls of paper, because I have to do it single-handed. I can attach the pulley to either end of the paper roll and then pull the paper roll down while the weight goes upwards, and vice versa to get the roll back up onto the ceiling again. You can there just about see the LED lights which will be lighting the paper rolls, which are featured running across the right side of the screen, just in front of the Murphy bed shelving there. The black bag in the middle of the screen actually contains my posing pods. There's about 6 different pods inside that casing, which can be used for people to sit on or to rest on when doing photo portraits. In the immediate foreground is my photo booth. This is again an unfinished product, but the actual red case will sit on top of the yellow stand, and the whole thing sits inside a marquee or booth enclosure for people to take their funny photos at parties and things like that. On the opposite side of the studio is actually the junk area at present. This is all got to be sort of got rid of or sorted out. In the little green bag are 4 300-watt par 56 lamps, and in the black case below that are the 4 par 56 cans. Both of those are going out because I decided that I don't like the colour temperature of the tungsten, and also they get far too blooming hot. The white box underneath that is a junk box where all my screws and plastic bits and pieces that I make the different bits and pieces from are held. In the black cases in the corner are all the microphones and lights and goodness knows what that can be used for when I go on location work. There's about three tie clip mics. Sorry for the shaking which is happening while I'm speaking. 3 tie clip mics, a shotgun mic, a Zeppelin holder. We've also got four 50 watt LED lamps. We've got a Steadicam being developed in there as well, and a few other bits and pieces which I can't recall offhand. And then there is my, in the corner on the left hand side of the screen now is the marquee for the photo booth mentioned earlier. There's 2 different versions. One is based on a standard marquee tent, and the other one is a frame made out of metalwork normally used for building flight cases and things like that. In the centre of the studio is my computer rig setup, which will also be used for recording videos and things like that, with the printer and a few extra pieces on top of there. So if I take a few steps back now, this is what the talent would actually see when they're in the studio. The camera will actually be set up on a jib bar which will run in front of the printer and computer screen. So that this is what the actual talent will see. This is what the actual talent will see. Over on in the middle of the screen now, tucked away into the dark, is actually, while it hunts, is actually a monitor that will be showing the talent what's being recorded on the actual video via HDMI link. So again, this is on the ceiling there. You can see the parallel the lighting rigs which are on the ceiling. In the middle of the ceiling there, that is a little night light for when I use it as a bedroom, because I don't like sleeping in the dark. The main room light there, the pantograph in front of that, which leads over to those 2 lights on either side. So that, in a nutshell, is my little studio. One more pan around the joint again. Blackout curtains as well as a roller blind which will stop the daylight coming in. In the middle of the screen now is a shoulder rig. The idea is you mount that on your shoulders, put weights on the bottom and the camera at the front, and you can do a handheld free running shot. I've just had to set up one of the lamps to illuminate this corner because it was a bit too dark to record on the film. At the bottom of the picture there is the case which will contain my slider rig and also the mini jib arm for taking the camera to about 4 foot distance from the tripod, and then going up into the air about 7 foot or down to the ground about 2 foot above it. In the long case above that is my background casing. This contains green, white and black material and my own design of background stand, which uses plate weights to hold things in position. The construction is such that I will be able to have a 3 metre by 3 metre green screen, or a 3 metre by 6 metre screen running across the floor, and also turn in the opposite direction, have a 3 metre high by 6 metre long green screen in case they need to do some special effects where a large group is required. As I say, it uses 4 extending stands with 4 weights on the base, and also the uprights as used on the wall there are cut into a certain shape so as to act as the stands for the backgrounds. The plans of that will be available soon once I've finished actually creating it and designing it. You can see one of these soft boxes in action there, which surprisingly has got just one bulb in it, which is a LED bulb with 5630 LED chips on it, which, considering, isn't quite bright at that close distance, but I would really like to go brighter when lighting talent, because at present the light is quite close to the subject, but obviously when you're filming the talent, the light is going to be 5 or 6 feet away from the actual subject. The blue bar to the left of the screen is actually a hair light pole. The little silver part sits on top of the basic eBay stand, and then the pole can be extended to whatever height is needed above the subject. It's not actually counterweighted or anything like that, but instead it's got a chain which connects from the blue part to the silver part to hold it at about a 45-degree angle. To the right side of my computer station are 2 blue poles. These are actually reflector holders, which you can see in the middle of the screen. I've got 4 small silver reflectors which are about 2 foot across, and in the background is another Luster light screen which is a green screen and is about 5 foot by 6 foot. So those just clamp onto the stands themselves and then hold the reflectors in whatever position I need. In actual fact, the area is being illuminated now by one of these reflectors, reflecting the light coming in from the door. To see the difference the actual reflector makes, if I take that away, you can see it's gone quite dark there, whereas bring back the light from the reflector. That makes quite a lot of difference. In the corner of the room are 6 drain pipes which have actually been adapted to hold the main heavy duty stands, work light stands, for the heavier lamps as opposed to using the lightweight eBay stands. Similar to the stand which I've now got used over there for the photo booth. I've got 5 of those actually in the drain pipes here, and in the 6th tube are all the wheels bases to enable the stands to be moved around easily. Shelves for my own use, including 2 125 watt CFL lamps, which are very, very bright. The main Murphy bed itself. Down in the corner of the studio are my 2 Kino Flow style lamps, which each contain 4 2-foot tubes. They are very, very bright because each tube is 55 watts in brightness. Above that we have we have 3 stools which people can either sit on for modelling purposes, or when they're sitting in the other room waiting to come in to have their photograph taken. I forgot to add on an earlier shot that the cases and the marquee boxes are actually on wheelbases, so they can be moved out of the studio into the other room to give a little bit more space if required. And ditto, the odds and ends box at the bottom there is also on a wheelbase, so that can be moved to the other room. Similarly, the crane box is also on a wheelbase, so that can be moved to the other room. But unfortunately, the pod is actually in a bag, so that has to be carried into the next room, and it's not exactly a lightweight.